Hi, this is Chuck Oliver with this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, how not to pay more starting in 2024, and I'm relating this to taxes. So as we ring in a new year and close out an old year, many of your friends, family, colleagues, people from all around the country took advantage of the strategic tax savings through the Hidden Wealth Solution. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of those folks so that you can relate that these are proven strategies, a proven track record of measurable results that I don't want you to pay more by learning how much less or not paying more by learning in 2024. In other words, it's never too early, it's never too late to get a head start to be tax smart, especially with the tax rates obviously going up, right? The deduction I'll teach you about on next Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. Again, I'll teach this as you get a little bit more downtime. A lot of feedback we get from clients are, wow, I should have paid more attention to this, or I'm so glad that I took the time to invest the time to learn about tax planning and strategies that literally eliminate the IRS from your income and your assets, all legally, ethically, and morally. You know, former Judge Hand in this country was famous in quoting that there's two tax systems in this country, one for the informed and one for the uninformed, but they're the same tax system. And I would tell you, in my years of helping people with a specialty of focus of transitioning from accumulation phase, kind of being within that 5 years or less away from retirement, all the way into retirement by transitioning to the preservation phase, taxes are a big deal. I talk about in Hidden Wealth Radio this weekend, retirees don't have to pay taxes in retirement. Folks, we've seen it. We've helped retirees do it, or at least become a low tax, if not a no tax retiree. And you can learn to do the same. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And let me teach you or learn what other people like you have learned for themselves, right? Don't pay more. Learn how to not pay more starting in 2024. And here's a couple examples. One client had a business exit and had some equity, largest tax year she'll ever have in her life, her and her husband. And they took the time to learn how to reduce their taxes by $400,000. And based on the payout and the extra income that's going to hit them in 2023, they got on their guns. And in the last week of the year, they actually reduced their taxable income by $400,000. And for them, that helped them save over 40% in tax. So think about that. They're going to save over six figures, over $150,000 it's projected that they're going to save in taxes by learning just one strategy I'll teach you this coming Tuesday. Now, you got to qualify. It's not for everybody. Who's it for, Chuck? For those of you that have been strong savers in IRAs and 401k type accounts. In other words, the tax me later accounts, I call them. I want to teach you that those are a ticking tax time bomb. And I'm going to give you a resource. It's a free resource. Take time while you have a little bit of time ringing in the new year and go to retirementtaxcalculator.com. That's retirementtaxcalculator.com. Put in the information, what you've saved in these tax me later accounts as a total, and then choose the tax rate that you think is likely to be the case. Now, understand we've got over $2 trillion of deficit spending this last couple years. It's quickly getting to almost $3 trillion of deficit spending, meaning we've got $3 trillion more going out than we have coming in. And get this, folks, the government has come out and said that by 2030, they're looking for $30 trillion of additional taxes. So if you want to do something predictable, you want to have a retirement New Year's resolution, learn how to remove yourself from the tax system. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And let me teach you concepts. But before you do that, go to retirementtaxcalculator.com and learn the tax risk road you're on. Let me give you a good example. We had another person that went and projected a 15% tax rate. Be realistic with the tax rate, folks. The tax rates are all going up 3% here in 2 years. Taxes are on sale, so take advantage of not paying more and learn to start doing that in 2024. He chose a 15% tax rate. He's a single tax filer, which means he already has a penalty because you bust through the brackets much sooner when you're a single tax filer as opposed to a joint tax filer. And he chose 15%, and he saved $1.5 million today. And he's not going to be of required minimum distribution age for several years, which means his balance is going to be way higher than that if he does it right. And his first required minimum distribution is going to put him over 25% between his federal and state tax. He chose to use an average of 15. This is where people miss the mark. I'm going to teach you this Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com, what you can do to lower your taxes. Folks, you worked hard for your money. Imagine less taxation, staying way ahead of inflation, learning how to avoid market deterioration. I'll teach you all these things Tuesday, but I really want you to take some time to see the tax risk you're on by going to retirementtaxcalculator.com and put in a realistic tax rate, folks. if they're looking for 30 trillion and we're already deficit spending 2 to 3 trillion and counting, the people that, who's it for, Chuck? Those of you that have worked the hardest to save the hardest in these accounts, when you thought at the time, the tax rates were 70% was the top tax rate. And of course, surely to goodness, you think you'd be in a lower tax rate when you retired. And now the tables have turned. Now the tax rates are in the 20s for most of us, and we're trying to avoid before they get to potentially the 60s or 70s. And if you think that's outlandish, folks, the average tax rate in this country since taxes were formed has averaged about 62%. Taxes are on sale. Learn how much lower, right? Prevent yourself from learning how much less your taxes can be, right? In 2024, learn how you don't have to pay more. retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com. Happy New Year.